Welcome back, everyone, to the High Tempo Sports Podcast, episode 105. Today, we are back indoors. Our last episode, if you did not catch it, go check it out. We were outside, first ever outside podcast ever.
Ever.
In podcast history.
Ever.
With Barry Hill and Tebow, 25 and under fantasy draft. Really fun episode. We're going to be doing a similar episode to that soon, I think. So
yeah, we talk. You're like clouded in mystery. I think we talked about it during.
No, yeah, I'm just saying. Like, it would just. I mean, I don't know when we're gonna do it, but at some point we'll do something similar to that because it was really fun.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But today we're back for a regular episode. We haven't done an episode like this in a while.
It's been a minute. It's been at least like 2 weeks because I mean we didn't do anything like last week.
Yeah, we've been pretty busy schedules, but Wednesdays are back now. I don't work on Wednesdays now, so we're going to be doing podcasts every Wednesday, maybe even slipping one in on the weekends too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Like now that the NFL season's starting, like we have to do 2 episodes a week, and it's perfect. It forces us to do.
Is next Wednesday weekly picks?
Mm-hmm.
Is next Thursday first game? Yeah, it is.
Hold up.
Yeah, next Thursday.
Are you sure? Did it start with Monday Night Football?
No, it starts with Thursday.
Okay. I remember Jack saying something because our draft is on Sunday, like our fantasy league draft. I thought he was saying something about like Monday Night Football that night. Or no, because the weeks don't start. Yeah, Monday's the last
on Thursday, yeah.
Monday is the last day of the week is what I meant to say.
Oh, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, but next Thursday is the first game. I think it's Bucks Cowboys, I'm pretty sure, is the first game. So next Wednesday, weekly picks will be back. I choked last time, right? Didn't I end up losing?
Yeah.
I can't do that this time. I need to just absolutely wipe the floor this year.
I plan on doing the exact same thing.
I mean, it was a really close battle last year.
Up until
Until I won like 4 or 5 in a row, and then I lost all of them at the end.
Yeah, you lost every week to end the year.
Oh, my God.
Wild.
I just love weekly picks. I'm super excited to do that. But yeah, let's just hop right into the news today. Today is kind of just like a random episode. I mean, we have just a few random things to talk about. Let's start off with the biggest like breaking news of the last couple days. Everyone in the NFL and NFL teams had to make their 53-man final rosters yesterday or the day before. And the New England Patriots cut Cam Newton, which was just unreal. I did not expect that at all. I'm not saying that I wasn't expecting Mac Jones to be the starter, but I just didn't think they would cut Cam Newton as a part of their cuts. So
yeah, I didn't expect
very shocking.
Like Cam Newton to be one of the guys who falls victim. Usually it's guys you have never heard of, or like the occasional like Eric Berry.
Yeah,
like Eric Berry.
And usually, if there's any guys on your team that you plan on not being on your team, you try to trade them before.
Especially
you cut
Cam
him.
Newton.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Texans need a quarterback right now. You're telling me they
got Tyrod Taylor.
Oh yeah, hopefully he keeps his ribs
The Chargers
intact.
didn't kill him, so. But yeah, Cam Newton gets cut. Really shocking news. He's going to be I assume he will be picked up by a team, but we had the same situation last year where he goes cut by the Panthers, and it was like he didn't get picked up for I think a week at least, so it was really weird.
I'm surprised he still hasn't been picked up. Like, I am amazed that the Texans haven't reached out to him.
Like, Cam Newton wasn't good last year, right?
But he wasn't.
But he is backup quarterback worthy. Yeah, he is not on an NFL team bad.
Yeah, that's if you think that Cam Newton shouldn't be on an NFL roster, like that's blasphemy.
Like even as a third string, he can just be on the team.
He needs to be. And I get maybe they didn't want to deal with his pay, obviously. And that's probably the main reason for cutting him, but still, you're telling me he wasn't picked up immediately? Or maybe he's just really weighing his options. But if I'm him, I'm taking whatever team wants me the most.
I think the Cowboys talked about interest in him. Obviously, their backup quarterback situation last year was really scuffed after Dak went out. It would be safe for them to go get him. The Vikings were attached to Cam Newton for some reason. I don't really get that one because they have Kirk and they drafted Kellen Mond in the 3rd round of the draft this year. So, but
and nothing's ever going to happen to Kirk Cousins ever.
What are some other teams that what are some other teams that could use Cam? I'm just trying to think. The Texans obviously is one.
Who is the Jets backup? Let's say Zach Wilson flops.
Yeah. I don't know. Because they don't have Joe Flacco anymore. I really don't know who the Jets backup is. Yeah, the Jets.
Might as well.
Yeah.
And it's a veteran
team with
quarterback.
a rookie QB or just a young QB or just an injury-prone quarterback.
The Dolphins.
The Dolphins,
They really could use. Imagine the Cam Newton back in, or it's not back in Florida, but in Florida.
Yeah.
He belongs in Miami. They love criminals.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I'm trying to, I mean, I can't really think of any other, like the Giants maybe, like if Daniel Jones gets hurt or just sucks. Hell, why don't the Lions pick him up? I mean, like, what if Jared Goff just sucks?
The Broncos?
Dude, that would actually, I didn't even think about the Lions one bit. Broncos got Bridgewater, though, and
I
Drew
forgot
Lock.
about Bridgewater. Did he get named
Bridgewater
starter?
starting, yeah.
That makes sense.
The Lions, though, dude, that would be cool if we got Cam.
Yeah, why wouldn't we?
I mean, like, we might as well. Like, he's not going to win us any extra games that we shouldn't win.
If we're trying to tank, which it feels like we are, I mean, we don't have a kicker. Like,
Yeah.
do you see that video of Jack Fox?
Yes,
kicking
I did,
field
bro.
goals,
And it was
bro?
just been botching them all.
He was awful.
I mean,
Like,
he's one of the best punters in the league. Like, it would be cool if they had him kick, but he won't.
like he sucks.
Yeah, but what are we gonna do? We don't have a roster spot for one
every time.
Oh, dude, that would be the biggest Dan Campbell move ever.
Dude, I'm not so sure it won't happen. Like,
go for 2, and if if it's 4th and 8, we're going for it.
Yeah.
Like, and we're in field goal
If
range,
we're
or
at
we're
the
just
25,
punting it into the end zone.
Jack Fox is gonna look legendary with all of his 15-yard punts, but they're all gonna be at the 1-yard line. Like, our defense.
That
is
would be a challenge.
crazy.
But we'll see what happens with Cam Newton. I was just really surprised, kind of why I'm rocking the Auburn shirt today, to respect for Cam Newton, because he deserves his respect. I think
he's been too disrespected
he is
lately.
just ever since he got hurt with the Panthers like 3 years ago, he has just been so disrespected by, it seems like, NFL teams and NFL fans. I'm not, like I said, he wasn't good last year. He was probably a top 5 worst quarterback in the league last year. But that's still in the top 32 quarterbacks. Like,
in the world.
He deserves a spot on a roster. But we'll see. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Low key, I'd take like Blaine Gabbert over him though. Like, there are some backups in the league that I'd take over him, bro. Like,
yeah, maybe
he might not. He'd be like top 40, guaranteed. But
the Philadelphia Eagles, speaking of backup quarterbacks, they traded for Gardner Minshew from the Jacksonville Jaguars to compete with Jalen Hurts for the quarterback spot. I think they have Nick Mullins too on their roster. So few QBs in Philly. He was Niners QB last year when Garoppolo got hurt. He actually wasn't bad.
No.
I was trying to relate that to Cam Newton somehow. Oh, like Jacksonville now has Trevor Lawrence obviously named the starter. Zach Wilson has been named the starter. Mac Jones has been named the starter. Justin Fields has not been named the starter. I saw a tweet today that was like, it was those 3 guys named the starter, and then it was Matt Nagy, I made Andy Dalton a promise. Which is what he said. He literally Andy Dalton should not be starting.
There's no question. I'm not like, not that I don't think Justin Fields is going to be good, but I am a Justin Fields hater. Like, I don't think he's going to be bad by any means. But like, I hate Justin Fields. He should be starting.
He should be starting. Like, and I think it's funny because I don't like the Bears. So the fact that they're handling this so poorly is hilarious. But like Andy Dalton, what did he say? This is my year, or this is my team to.
Like, shut up,
like,
bro.
They asked him something about Justin Fields. He was like, I think he's going to have a great career, but it's my time now, or something corny as hell like that. It's just like, bro, dude,
shut up.
No, it's not. It's not your time,
dude.
Bro.
You're not Cam Newton. Like, if Cam Newton said that, it'd be a little cooler. It's like, it's Cam Newton.
But he's a badass.
And like, he's won an MVP and taking a team to a Super Bowl. Andy Dalton, your best accomplishment is like 12-0 one season.
You made the playoffs like 4 years in a row and lost in the first round every single time. And got absolutely killed on the football field last year. Like, no offense to Andy Dalton or anything, but yeah, Fields should be starting. Trey Lance, I don't know if that has come out yet. I think he just suffered an injury, but like a very minor injury where he's going to be out like a week. So he might not even be ready to go by week 1. But apparently he's been playing really, really well this whole preseason and in training camp.
I haven't seen a single minute of, like, I haven't watched any Trey Lance football.
Yeah, I haven't either. But Zach Wilson actually had a good game in the Jets' last preseason game too. So that's a good sign for them. As far as the Lions go, they cut one of their wide receivers, Brashad Perriman. So that one dude that you hate, Harvard. Oh, Jelani Tavai, yeah, he's gone, and he will not be picked up by another team. I could put money on that. His career is done in the NFL.
Like you're saying, if you could bet, you'd bet million.
Yeah, I would
everything.
I would bet $50K. If there was odds for it, like how there is odds for everything
It'd be
else,
wild.
Odds for him to get signed. No, I mean he might get signed by a random team, but he's just really bad, really, really bad football player. So.
Dude, you hate this guy.
Dude, the Lions, I saw a tweet the other day that was the Lions' second-round picks over the last 10 years. And they are all just dudes that played in the league for like 2 or 3 years and then were out of the league. And it's just like, oh my God, that is so.
So wasn't Carry-On in there?
Carry-On was in there.
But he was pretty solid.
He's not on a team? Or
I know he's out, but like he was. It wasn't for injury.
You're right. He is an exception because he was good when he could play.
Yeah.
And it is really. That does really make me sad that he is not on a team right now. I mean,
you have a jersey.
I have his jersey. I was a huge Carry-On fan. Because my whole life the Lions never had a good running back ever. Like they couldn't. They didn't have a dude rush for 100 yards for like 10 years until Reggie Bush randomly did it, and then it was like 5 more years.
Yeah, and like Reggie Bush isn't the guy that's gonna do that.
And he just came to Detroit for like a year or two just because.
Caught passes.
Yeah, like
he's the best in the world at that.
But Carry-On was like at the bright spot, like he's the future. And then we drafted DeAndre Swift, and it was like, oh, okay, I guess they're just giving up on Carry-On, like, whatever.
Wow.
And then he gets signed with the Eagles, cut by the Eagles. It's just like,
and then DeAndre Swift's low-key going to be a baller.
Oh, yeah, I'm a huge DeAndre Swift fan, but it just is unfortunate what happened to Carry-On Johnson. And I really hope DeAndre Swift does not have these same injury issues because it's looking like he's not even going to start the year off right now. So I really hope DeAndre Swift can, if there's any sign of injury for him, don't play him. We cannot risk another Carry-On situation.
Granted, like, Carry-On Johnson did teach you a lesson. Like, you're never going to get an average player's NFL jersey.
Don't buy a jersey. Well, see, I was trying to do the opposite. I was trying to buy in, bro, in like 3 years, he could be like a top 10 running back.
I had his jersey.
And I got his jersey when he was a rookie. Like, that's kind of where I was coming from.
No, I get it. Like, that's the same, like, we're getting Cade's jersey. We obviously think
that's a little different.
Because he's obvious.
Yeah, but Cade, the first overall pick, like, Carry-On was a second-round running back. Like, fifth running back us
getting, like, Luka Garza jerseys.
True, yeah.
Very similar.
Or like Livers or something.
Yeah, like just somebody who like has shown us sparks, but like hasn't
like
proven
Will
anything.
Garza and Livers both be on the Pistons in 3 years. I hate to say it because I'd love for them both to, but there's like a really rare chance that both of them are in 3 years.
Granted, like we could have.
Go ahead.
Basically, we have the all Big Ten team at that point. Like,
pretty much, yeah. What was I just gonna say? Oh, I still have to get my new Lions jersey. I'll probably just get it when we go to the game. But I kind of want to get a Frank Ragnow jersey because that's kind of funny.
Well, that one's hard.
I know, like it's kind of cool. Like he's gonna be on the Lions for quite some time.
And again, the only dudes who wear like lineman jerseys are usually like the massive dudes.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm just like the skinny ass dude, short dude
who loves
rocking
Frank
the Ragnow
Ragnow
jersey.
Like his favorite position on the football field is center. He loves it.
I'm kind of trying to. I might do the buy-in, though, and get an Okuda jersey. Maybe he'll blow up.
No, dude. You pull out an Okuda jersey, you're in trouble.
Or an Amon-Ra St. Brown jersey. That's might be a little early for
I might just get the Jared Goff jersey and call it David Blau.
Yeah. I think I'm just going to get the Stafford jersey because Stafford will be back on the Lions in 2 years.
After his MVP season.
Yeah, he'll win it with the Rams, come back to Detroit.
He'll like the Braun of football.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just like that.
Just like
better than LeBron, though.
And like come back and win 6 for Detroit.
When is your fantasy draft? Is Sunday, right?
Yeah.
What pick you got?
9 and 12. So I'm so excited. I'm
10-man league, right?
Like I'm really hoping none of them listen to this. Like at the same time, like, it would be cool. But like I'm really hoping I can get Eckler, and then I don't know where they have Gibson going. Where's Gibson supposed to go?
Well,
because I want both of them.
I think Gibson is like an early second-round pick.
Yeah, dude.
But it's just hard because the way we did our fantasy draft last Sunday.
Okay.
But we have keeper. Like, you get to keep one guy. So the draft order is really messed up because, like, the top... McCaffrey couldn't get kept because you can't keep the same guy 2 years in a row. So McCaffrey went 1, but, like, the 2, 3, 4 guys, Dalvin Cook, Kamara, and Derrick Henry, all got kept. So, like, the second overall pick was Nick Chubb. So it kind of just messes up the whole... Like, Eckler really and Gibson both went first round, I'm pretty sure. So, actually, no, I think Willie got Najee and Gibson at the end of the...
Dude, Eckler and Gibson as my 2 running backs would be
really
disgusting.
Nice. I went no running back strategy.
Which is
because I had
wild.
Calvin. I kept
So, go with your team.
Yeah, so my keeper was Calvin Ridley. I took him in the 5th round last year, so I lose my 5th round pick. So I start my draft already with a stud wide receiver. So going into it, I'm like, all right, I'm going to get a couple really good running backs. But Chubb went 2. I think Zeke Elliott went 3. And then I had the 4th pick. And I was going to take Zeke if someone took Saquon.
But you don't take Saquon.
I don't want to take Saquon. And I didn't really want to take Zeke either, but I was going to.
Yep.
So I took Devontae Adams. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take Devontae, and then I'm going to get like a somewhat good running back, like a Joe Mixon or a Chris Carson. I think Joe Mixon is a little overhated. Like, I think he still will be solid.
I drafted him. That's why I hate him. Like, I had him at one.
Oh, I've had him before, too.
I hate that
But
guy.
just like getting a decent guy.
Yeah.
And then it comes around me to the 2nd round, and like the top running backs available are just not worth taking. Like, I would have to reach for one.
Yeah.
That's how much the running backs drop off is. It actually kind of sucks.
There's nothing worse
So
than
I took,
reaching.
yeah, and then Barry Hill is like the biggest Darren Waller fan ever. Like he has his jersey, like
he is.
huge fan. He was the pick like 2 or 3 picks after me coming back around. And I knew he wanted him, but I literally was like, dude, if there's no running back here worth taking, I'm just gonna say screw it and draft Waller. Because I never have been like drafted or one of the top tight ends early. I like have never done that in fantasy. So I did. I took Waller.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know.
Like, the thing
so
is,
my trio of receivers is Adams, Ridley, Waller.
like, I know Barry Hill's super disappointed.
He was pissed.
Because, like, maybe a week and a half ago, like a week before your draft, I said, Barry Hill, like, who is your favorite player other than Matt Stafford? And he looks at me right in the eyes. He goes, Darren Waller. He's like, I love him.
Yeah, but he wanted to get a good tight end, and it was funny because
At that point, Kelsey.
I took Waller, and then someone took Kittle, and then someone took either Mark Andrews or Hawkinson. So he
Screwed.
he just didn't end up getting a very good tight end. But then I got David Montgomery in the round after that.
He's not bad.
He's not
a bad
bad.
pick.
I got him, but he as my RB1 though.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's
That's
not-
rough. Who's your QB?
I drafted QB, the last dude to take QB, and I still got Tom Brady. And then I drafted Deshaun Watson to say fuck it. And that was before they came out and said they're going to sit him every single game.
That he can't.
So unless
play.
he gets traded, he won't play. So I'll probably just end up cutting him after like a week or two if he doesn't get traded.
Dude, but imagine he gets traded.
But I don't think he's going to.
Yeah, who wants
But
to
it would
deal
be
with the shit
awesome
he's
though,
dealing
like
with?
because he's not suspended. Like
No.
he could play. The Texans just said they're not going to. So I just drafted him just because, like, why not? Someone
Mr.
else.
Irrelevant,
Yeah.
basically. You're Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, he was like earlier than that, but
Oh, really?
yeah, he was projected to be like a 7th or 8th round pick. I'm pretty sure, just because no one really knows what's going
Yeah.
on. But
I need it. Like last year, I didn't really have a QB until like I made a trade for Aaron Rodgers, and like, but living without a QB is hell.
it does suck. Oh, I made a huge mistake last year.
It was bad.
I had Drew Brees as my QB, and he was like all right, but then he got hurt, and then it was like, all right, I need to get a better QB because my backup was like Bridgewater or something.
Yeah.
And so I traded. This was before Antonio Gibson like really started going off. He would like have a 20-point week and then like a 4-point week. He was like kind of good, and it was like week 6 or 7, I think. I traded Gibson to Scuba for Big Ben, who was playing good, for Big Ben and like another running back that wasn't very good, and absolutely got finessed because Big Ben started playing bad after that,
Yep.
and Gibson blew up, and I just had no good quarterback play.
I think my 2 quarterback picks, I picked them like super late. Like that was my strategy. Like I'll just take a decent starting quarterback who like nobody else thinks is gonna be good. And I took Cam Newton in like round like 13 because I knew that nobody else would take him and Trey wanted him. I noticed Trey
I remember
Trey
you
hadn't
telling me
taken a
about
QB.
this.
But I think my other quarterback might have been Drew Lock. Like I started off the year. Like I was Gardner Minshew was coming in and playing for me some weeks. And it was awful.
I really wanted Tannehill bad. He was the one I wanted, but Scuba got him right before
Tannehill's
me.
going to be a baller
I
this
wanted
year.
him so
He's gonna be
badly. And he's
crazy.
a later pick, too.
I
But-
can't take him, though, because I've said so many poor things about him. And Hayden's in our league, and he's like the biggest Tannehill
Yeah, he'll
fan.
probably get him.
Well, it's just like I don't want to take him, then him ball out, and me having to be like, yeah, he's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then you could draft him. What if he sucks? And you're like, yeah, I knew I shouldn't have drafted him.
Yeah.
I knew he sucked.
Why did I ever? Or you just finesse Hayden out of a trade.
That's a better idea.
That's
I
the
think.
best idea. Always got to play favorites.
Oh, yeah. So is that? I mean, we could talk about the injuries. J.K. Dobbins suffers a season-ending Achilles tear or something, ACL, something like that. Very unfortunate. The third young running back now to have a season-ending injury, along with Travis Etienne and Cam Akers. Really unfortunate. I mean,
for all three of them. I was excited
all three
for every
guys.
single player.
I mean, especially Akers and Dobbins were supposed to be first, second-round picks in fantasy. Travis Etienne, was a first-round draft pick this year. Just super unfortunate for all of them.
I was extremely excited to watch every single one of those backs play. Like, running back, I think majority of people in the NFL, running back is their favorite position. In all honesty.
Yeah, just because they're very flashy, yeah.
And they're just cool and they run over people and juke them out and stuff.
Yeah.
There are exceptions. That like one of my favorite players is Stephon Diggs. Like, I still need the Bills jersey. I need the red one because that thing would be so cold.
The red one would be so good.
Might go home tonight and buy it. Like, that would be so dope. But like, I think running backs is just so much fun. So like the rookie running backs that come in every year, everybody is always excited about them.
Oh yeah,
because like, who's gonna be the new flashy guy? Who's next up? And
DeAndre Swift.
DeAndre Swift is the next Austin Eckler. That's who he is.
Or the next Barry Sanders. We gotta have high expectations.
Like way higher than what I said, apparently. Austin Eckler.
Is that good for football talk though?
Yeah, I think so.
So let's move on. We're gonna be doing a ranking list in a minute, but we got some NBA news to talk about beforehand. There was a trade that happened. Actually, there was a couple trades. Eric Bledsoe got traded to the Clippers. Rondo signed with the Lakers.
Yeah.
Those are minimum trades. But the bigger trade, I guess, was a sign-and-trade with restricted free agent Lauri Markkanen. Really a lot of question marks about what was going to happen with him this offseason after the Bulls spent a lot of money and improved their team. Lauri really didn't fit on the team anymore. Lauri signs a 4-year, $67 million deal with the Cleveland Cavaliers in a sign-and-trade. Portland gets involved in the sign-and-trade to make it a 3-team deal, and they get Larry Nance Jr. from the Cavs, and then the Bulls get Derek Jones Jr., and then they get Portland's first-round pick next year, lottery protected. So I think Portland's probably the winner of this deal.
Absolutely.
The Bulls, I guess, are kind of winners because they got
the losers are Cleveland.
They got a pick for. I mean, in Portland, yeah, you gave up your pick next year, but like it's lottery protected. If you suck, you'll get it. If you are decent, what's the 20th pick gonna do to help this current Blazers team?
And your goal, if you're the Blazers, is to win a chip. Like this year.
And all they talk about is defensive versatility for this Portland team that they don't have. Covington's like their only guy. And they just got Larry Nance Jr., who's a lot like Robert Covington. So that's definitely a W of a pickup for them. I mean, Larry Nance Jr. is probably the best player in this deal. He's probably better than Lauri Markkanen is, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I take Larry. Oh,
yeah, but
sure.
Lauri just has the more upside, I guess.
Easily. It's just like Larry Nance is already an established, very solid NBA. Like, he's solid.
He's a very good role player. Yeah, definitely.
And so just to bring him onto any roster, I think is huge.
But yeah, Cleveland goes and gets Lowry. Very weird. They draft Evan Mobley 2nd overall. They paid Jarrett Allen. Kevin Love said he's not going to get bought out. He is going to stay there until his deal is up. Probably won't even play, but yeah, and then they add Lauri Markkanen into this mix of big men. I mean, we were talking about Cleveland last night. They need to like be good. They have to. They can't afford to have another top 5 pick, I don't think.
Cuz like you have like we said, Colin Sexton at the 1, Darius Garland at the 2 or whatever. And then at the 3, Isaac Okoro, 4, Evan Mobley, 5, Jarrett Allen.
And then add Lauri Markkanen into that as well.
Now try and throw in a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
Who's moving to the bench? Like, you got to start making some crazy choices super early on.
You have to start, I mean, you have to move somebody. If and like you're going to be, and I don't see a world where Cleveland is good next year. I mean, do you see a world where they're not in the top 10? Like, they will be in the top 10 next year.
They will be a lottery team.
And they will get lucky in the lottery like they always do. They'll probably end up with the 3rd pick or the 1st pick.
And they're taking Chet Holmgren. Yeah. And now you have a serious problem.
You have to play him at the 3. And
like, maybe it's not as much of a problem as it is just a blessing.
It's just like at some point, all their young guys have to put it together. But yeah, Lauri Markkanen's going to be coming off the bench, paying him this much money. When Lauri Markkanen said that he wants to leave Chicago for an expanded role and a starting role, which he's not going to get.
Got moved to the bench.
I assume he's not going to start. I would be crazy if he did start over one of those two guys. So interesting trade. We'll see how Cleveland works that out. But the main thing I wanted to talk about before we got into our ranking was Ben Simmons. We've been talking a lot about Ben Simmons off camera, just about what the hell's going on.
Is he good?
It obviously Ben Simmons was supposed to get traded, and then even like a week ago, it really was seeming like, all right, he's not going to get traded because there just can't be. Both Philly's asking for too much, and every other team like doesn't even know what he's worth at this point. And then it comes out a couple days ago that Ben Simmons says he will not play for Philly. He will sit out if he is not traded. He gave them the 4, or did he say the 3 California teams, even though there is 4?
Yeah, every team but the Sacramento Kings.
I mean, I would feel like it's every team but the Lakers, right? Like, what do the Lakers have to trade? I mean, I guess you would want to play for the Lakers, but I think the Kings are like the one California team them and the Warriors.
The Warriors could pick him up.
The Clippers, what are they going to trade for him? I mean,
Ben Simmons has lost his
one
mind.
of the LA teams I feel like has to be not included with that what he's saying.
I feel like
maybe he doesn't want to go to Sacramento, but
maybe he thinks he's worth Anthony Davis or something like that. Like
LeBron for.
I mean, I'm basically young LeBron. Guys.
But so he pretty much said he's not going to play for them, and a trade is going to happen. It might not happen. I mean, it's probably going to happen this offseason, or it'll happen right at the beginning of the year, like a James Harden deal kind of happened. But Simmons will not put on a Sixers jersey again.
He said he's not even going to practice.
Yeah.
Not even practice wearing the jersey.
This puts Daryl Morey and the 76ers in the situation that they were really trying to avoid. Because now they have absolutely no leverage at all, and they're gonna have to move Ben Simmons
for nothing,
for something that they did not want. I mean, you are going to. I'm just so curious on what trade will end up being, because Philly is obviously still trying to contend. They just gave Joel Embiid a huge max extension.
They've got a great roster.
Yeah, one of the best players in the NBA. But whatever trade you make, is going to make your team worse. I mean, 100%. Like, there was a couple trades that came out, like rumored trades to the Spurs for like DeJounte Murray and Derek White. Yeah, those are good players, but
not Ben Simmons.
Does that Philly team win No. Like, they're not winning the East. They're not top 3 in the East.
No.
They're going to get worse. So it's just like, do you want to go for the route of, all right, let's move Simmons for one good player and then a bunch of picks and maybe a young player, and then flip those young assets for more right now? Like, the Kings offer has been Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, and a couple picks.
Which is I think that's a good package at this point.
Because then even if you could keep Tyrese Halliburton, because he obviously is a good player, but he's more of a potential guy, you could maybe flip him in those picks or your own picks.
Well, now I think about it.
You don't have to, but
you could even just keep him.
You definitely could, but that still their team is definitely still worse.
Yeah, but in 2 years, it's probably better.
But in 2 years, the Nets are still going to be there. The Bucks are they got to try right now, And in 2, Joel Embiid is still, in 2 years, he could 2
be
years
hurt.
older. Yeah, it's just so, I don't know.
Daryl Morey has went from now organization where he was in a shitty spot to another organization where he's in just as bad, probably worse of a spot. Because everybody knew James Harden was good. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. You could have got James Harden for Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons is nobody knows whether or not this guy's worth anything.
And they're not going to end up doing a deal to get a guy that's better. Dame Lillard trade isn't going to happen.
No.
Bradley Beal trade isn't going to happen. You're not going to trade Simmons to get someone better, even though that's what
their goal
everyone thinks. Apparently, Tyrese Maxey might get moved because he's with Clutch Sports and Rich Paul. And Rich Paul and it came out that the 76ers will never have another Clutch Sports player on their team again as long as Daryl Morey's the GM, or just
what?
It's just been a big time beef between Clutch Sports and
Daryl Morey.
What
an awful restriction to put on yourself. I can't have Anthony Davis, LeBron James.
You can't have
half the league,
15% of the league,
and it's all the top guys.
Exactly. There's a lot of young players represented by Rich Paul now too. So
Rich Paul's the biggest agent in the NBA. For a reason. There's you saying that is basically saying, I don't ever want to win a chip. Never want to be good enough.
It's just him and Rich Paul's beef, obviously. But the thing I wanted to discuss was Bleacher Report. They made an article today, actually, and it is titled "A New Ben Simmons Landing Spot and Fresh NBA Trades You've Never Thought of."
Fresh.
Zach Buckley, he does a lot of these Bleacher Report articles. A lot of the trades that they make are really bad, but they're fun to react to. So let's just hop in. The Ben Simmons ones I don't think is till last. I only saw the first trade on this, so I don't know where the new, but all I know is the title picture is Dame and Ben Simmons. So if Dame is included, it's not going to happen. Like it's just not going to.
Taking it.
But let's see. Actually, before we do this, I do want to say, where do you think Ben Simmons wound up getting traded to?
You asked that expecting an answer, but like there's no spot that makes sense at this point for him to get landed to except any team that underpays and wants him. Like any team can throw out an offer and it might be good enough at this point because nobody knows what anybody else is offering.
Well, because I saw something that was like all these teams are going to offer bad offers for Simmons, or at least offers that Daryl Morey doesn't like. What if there's just that one team that's like, all right, I know he's getting shitty offers. Let's just give him a pretty nice offer that he just has to accept because all the other ones are bad.
Yeah.
I do think, honestly, if I had to guess, I would guess the Timberwolves would be where he ends up. But
that one works.
But I think Simmons is becoming underrated at this point.
I
think wherever he goes, he's going to be better than he was in Philly. I really do think so.
I think Ben Simmons is like
this
damn near criminally underrated.
I think this is giving him like a chip on his shoulder type.
Ben Simmons is still a top 10 point guard in the league.
He made top 15.
Dude, he's the best
borderline
defender.
top 10.
He's the best defender, and like that goes a long way.
I know. But I mean, the point guard is the best position in the NBA.
I still think he's there.
I mean, we'll wait till we do our point guards list, I guess.
Which is like
it's
7
close.
episodes.
He's borderline. But I think the Timberwolves would make a lot of sense. You could do a D-Lo. Maybe you have to throw in Malik Beasley, maybe. But it would make sense because it would let Anthony Edwards kind of take over as the prime wing player on that team. Simmons next to Cat makes a lot of sense.
Makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah. You still have maybe you throw Patrick Beverley. I mean, that would be a guy that the Sixers would like to have for a win now type situation. So I think the Warriors have become the favorite. I think I saw that on Twitter today that they're the favorite to get Ben Simmons. Still don't really get it because why would the Sixers accept a package of Wiggins and Kuminga?
Yeah,
and a pick for Simmons. Like, how does that benefit
that makes your team way worse.
That
you are way out.
That doesn't help at all. But let's get into these. I think the Simmons trade is last, so I think there's like four trades here.
Okay.
First one, titled "Bulls Add Two-Way Wing, Grizzlies Grow Asset Collection." Chicago Bulls receive Dillon Brooks from the Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies receive Kobe White, Troy Brown Jr., and 2 future second-round picks.
It's a steal of a trade for the Grizzlies.
Interesting trade, yeah, because the Grizzlies are kind of heading towards more of this, like, fit their timeline, I guess. Like, they're trading away all of their older players that other teams would value a lot right now. Dillon Brooks is one of those guys. Another, Kyle Anderson has been rumored to get traded. You get Kobe White, who kind of really doesn't have a big-time role on this Bulls team anymore, and he would definitely have a big role in Memphis. So
he'd be sweet behind Ja.
Yeah.
Like, he would look dope.
And honestly, I kind of like that trade too because for Chicago, I think it makes a lot of sense. Dillon Brooks is definitely more of a win-now player than Kobe White is.
And Troy Brown.
Yeah.
Like, easily.
And he makes this team better than just having Kobe White on. At least he fits the team more. So that's a pretty good first trade. I like that.
Yeah.
Is it going to happen? Like the offseason is damn near over. I think Ben Simmons is the only guy or only other trade we're still
I could
see.
still see Kyle Anderson get moved. Kyle Anderson's a big deal also.
I like Kyle
Have
Anderson.
You seen,
but why he just let him stay in Memphis? Like
he's been all over the internet lately.
Really?
Like I'm seeing like videos of him all the time about how is this guy good at basketball? Like
slow-mo. Next one. Warriors make their splash. Pelicans add prospects. All right.
Oh, Jesus.
Golden State Warriors receive Brandon Ingram, Tomas Satoransky, and Jackson Hayes. New Orleans Pelicans receive Wiggins, James Wiseman, and Jonathan Kuminga. So the Warriors keep Moody, but they lose their other 2 younger guys. They get Brandon Ingram. Okay, so for the Pelicans, it really just depends on if they're trying to go all in or if they really need to realize, because they've tried to go all in the last 2 years and haven't made the playoffs. So you have to commit to either one or the other.
It's just like
moving Ingram already,
is
just
undervaluing Ingram.
It's just like Ingram and Zion could be a really, really nice duo eventually. But I mean, but Wiseman and Kuminga, how much worse is Wiggins than Ingram? I'm not, obviously Ingram is definitely better, but it's probably not by a crazy amount, I guess.
No, it's probably less than you think. And then Wiseman, I mean, he's a pretty nice prospect, but Kuminga,
Wiseman and Jackson Hayes are probably like similar, honestly.
And same with where's Kuminga's minutes going to come?
Yeah.
Is he going to have to play the 3?
Probably, yeah.
But Wiggins should be at the 3.
Yeah, Kuminga's going to have to come off the bench.
And I don't know how many.
He will come off the bench.
Then you're
the
behind
Warriors.
Zion.
Yeah.
And
that one's interesting. I don't see Ingram getting traded quite yet. Now, if the Pelicans suck again for another year,
then you start talking about it.
Then you can talk about it.
You also got to remember Zion's dad was the one chirping. Remember, he was chirping at
Pelicans, they have to at least make the play-in tournament this year to really convince Zion to stay, which is so weird that that's already being talked about. But
he's so young.
I know. Next one. Okay, so this is a 3-team trade. Blazers, Pacers, Mavericks shake things up. Portland Trail Blazers receive Kristaps Porzingis. Indiana Pacers receive C.J. McCollum. And the Dallas Mavericks receive Miles Turner, Jeremy Lamb, and a 2022 lottery-protected first from the Pacers. So the Pacers are getting C.J., giving up Turner, Lamb, and a pick. The Portland is just giving up C.J. and getting Kristaps. Dallas is giving up Kristaps and getting Miles Turner. This is a steal for Dallas.
But what an awful trade for Portland.
Awful trade for
CJ and getting Kristaps.
I mean, I don't know. I don't mind that much, I guess, though. Because it allows you to move Norm Powell to the 3. Porzingis doesn't really have to play the 5 necessarily. And you can start Covington and then have Nance come off the bench. That one, I don't hate that much, but this is just so...
It's a huge.
This is something we've been
trade.
talking about for so long, that all 3 of these guys need to get moved.
So let's just throw them
let's
all
just
in
all
one
in the
trade.
same trade. That'll happen.
Get it over with.
Dallas, I think, gets a steal though.
Yeah,
I think
Miles
you're
Turner.
giving up Porzingis and you're getting Turner, Lamb, and a pick. For Indiana, this trade makes no sense though. Why would Indiana want C.J. McCollum? I mean, I could see C.J. going to Dallas if you literally just do Porzingis for McCollum.
Yeah.
I could see that, but why would Indiana have CJ is just a little better Karis LeVert?
You're just taking away minutes from your already growing young.
Exactly.
I guess Karis isn't that young, but
still though, I mean, nothing against CJ, but it just he doesn't really fit the Pacers at all. No. I still think that the Pacers are the team that should be trading for Ben Simmons as far as the return that the Sixers would get.
Miles Turner.
Not even Miles. I mean, they have Embiid, so why would they want Miles Turner?
Right.
I'm thinking Brogdon, TJ Warren, maybe a pick. I think that is a much better than a DeJounte Murray, Derek White, or of Halliburton, Buddy Hield, at least for winning now. I think if you get Brogdon and Warren, I think that helps your team out a lot.
No, and I can definitely, the Brogdon move makes a lot of sense. One of the most efficient guards in the league, doesn't make any mistakes
Plays
ever.
good defense.
Plays great defense on this Philadelphia team who needs a true ball-dominant guard who can lead. Malcolm Brogdon averaged 20 points a game.
Yeah.
He's a hooper.
And then TJ Warren is Jesus Christ.
He's a baller.
He is. If it's bubble TJ, any glimpses of bubble TJ, I mean,
it's a steal.
They will win the championship.
Bubble TJ is one of the greatest basketball players to ever step on the court.
I'm going to go home and watch TJ Warren
TJ
bubble highlights. I think I'm going to.
They're wild.
But TJ Warren, he's also going into the last year of his deal, so it would make sense for the Pacers to throw him in. Because I think they offered Brogdon and a first for Simmons, right at the beginning of the offseason, and the Sixers said no. So, I don't know. We'll see. If I was the Pacers, I would do it, though, because their team is filled with too many good players, but not good enough to be good.
No, that's facts.
They have a really good roster, but it's just not good enough to be good enough.
The Hawks could be there one day. The Hawks could be that team in a couple of years.
You could trade Trae Young for Simmons, too.
No. No.
So this last one must be the Ben Simmons trade. We also haven't seen Dame Lillard yet, so I assume Dame Lillard's in this trade. Yes. Ooh, this is interesting. A 3-team trade. So, yes, this is involving Damian Lillard, so it's a little unrealistic, but whatever. Because the only reason Dame would get traded is if he requested one himself.
You're not trading that guy.
And I don't think he would. Ooh, this is interesting. Okay, so the Sixers received Dame. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to skip to the other team. The Memphis Grizzlies are the third team in this trade, and they are getting Ben Simmons. So the Blazers are trading Dame and not getting Ben Simmons.
Whoa.
The Grizzlies receive Ben Simmons and 2 second-round picks from Philly.
Okay.
And then Portland receives Jaron Jackson Jr. from Memphis, Matisse Thybulle, Dylan Brooks, Jaden Springer, DeAnthony Melton, and 4 first-round picks, or 2 first-round picks and 2 swaps from Philly.
Holy shit.
So you're getting a haul.
You're getting a huge package.
But the only young player you're getting is Jaron.
Yeah, none of those other dudes are really growing.
And
it feels.
I mean, if you prefer Jaron over Simmons, then obviously, yeah, that makes sense.
Thybulle's a young player.
Yeah, you're right. Thybulle is, but I'm just saying, as far as how much better is he going to get?
Jaron Jackson's the only guy.
Jaden Springer, obviously, is a young player, but he was at back of the first round draft pick. Dylan Brooks is a guy who would come in and help their team right away.
That's definitely the best trade drop I've seen.
Let's think about Memphis, though. Would you want to do this? You're trading away Jaron Jackson, Dylan Brooks, DeAnthony Melton for Simmons, pretty much.
And if you're doing that, you're committing to winning now.
Kind of, yeah.
And
yeah. Which,
you don't. You're not in the position.
Then your
to do
starting
that.
5 is just got no shooting, though. I mean, I'm not saying Jaron is this lights out shooter, but Dylan Brooks is a pretty solid. Your starting 5 is Ja. I mean, Desmond Bane is your only shooter. Kyle Anderson, Simmons, and Steven Adams.
Oh my God.
I'll pass on that.
Yeah, no. Bad trade.
But yeah, Portland is getting a haul, I guess, in this. So
that's one of the best offers I've seen because anything Tyrese Maxey and Ben Simmons is not enough for Dame.
Exactly. All these Dame trades were the most horrible one, that Boston Celtics one where they didn't even get Jaylen Brown. They got Nesmith, Langford, Carson Edwards, and then 4 picks. And it's dude, do you see what Drew Holiday went for? You see what James Harden obviously is kind of different, but
him and Dame are probably similar levels.
Paul George got traded for Shea, one of the top young players in the league, plus 18 first-round picks. And Dame is probably a better player than Paul George at the time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, it's Dame. If he does get traded, it's going to be with Ben Simmons going to Portland, I think.
And it's going to be a bag.
Yeah.
Philly's screwing themselves, shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, you're just going to have a duo of Dame and Embiid and hope it works.
And you better win,
yeah.
or else you're screwed.
That's all the trades, though. So, yeah, Simmons, he will get traded. It would be cool if it happened right now live, but it's not going to. But
it's only happened once in high-tempo podcast history. But
the Simmons drama, though, will continue. We'll see where he ends up because it hopefully will happen in the next couple weeks. I'd like for it to obviously happen before the season starts. Are we ready to hop into our ranking video for the day?
Yes, we are.
I just wanted to make sure there was no new Ben Simmons news. Who would you rather trade for right now, Ben Simmons or Russell Westbrook?
Russell Westbrook.
That's what I just saw on Twitter. Interesting.
Who are you taking?
Probably Simmons, just because he's way younger.
I guess, yeah. If I'm trading, but if I want them for 1 year,
if I want them for 1 year, Westbrook.
Westbrook.
I agree. Yeah.
But if it's and I agree the other way.
Yeah. So we are going to be doing what we did last year. Last year we did the top 10 at every position. We ranked them, and then we ended up doing a top 50 players. Are we going to do top 50 again?
I don't know. That was the most difficult.
It might have been a little long.
And it was the most difficult list.
I was thinking top 20, maybe top 25.
Top 25 works.
Yeah.
Top 25 is a great number.
But we'll have to get through all the positions first. So we'll be doing these in our episodes. We're doing in reverse order this time, though. Probably the most boring one, I would say, is this one. The top,
easily.
Because I think it's just
the top 5 is
I think it's an easy list.
Yeah,
I think we're going to have very similar lists. All the other ones are kind of ooh, I don't know about this one. Top 10 centers in the NBA. I do want to read off. I wrote down our list from last year, though. So
perfect.
I figured that would
this
be
cool.
cool.
This is awesome. Yeah, that's a great idea.
I'll go from, should I go 10 to 1 or 1 to, I mean, since I'm just reading it off, it doesn't matter. So last year, Bam was considered a power forward last year. So we both don't have Bam on here, but we're going off ESPN rankings, by the way. Bam is a center on this one. So we both, our top 4 was the same: Jokic, Embiid, Cat, Gobert. I had what'd you say?
Okay, yeah.
Oh. I had Vucevic at 5 and Porzingis at 6. You had Porzingis at 5 and Vucevic at 6, which is just, I mean, that's
Crazy.
already like
That's wild.
way different. I had Yusuf Nurkic at 7. Ugh, that one's tough. You had DeAndre Ayton at 7. I had Ayton at 8. You had Serge Ibaka at 8. I know. I saw. I literally was just like, I had Ibaka at like 12. I'm pretty sure. So, but
like, think about that now.
I know.
Like, especially with the season he just had.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, he wasn't bad, but
he ain't even close.
he's forgotten about.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even think about Serge Ibaka.
Yeah, me either.
We both had Steven Adams at 9, which he kind of fell off from his last year in OKC because they were still a playoff team his last year
He
in
was
OKC.
still, like, really, really
yeah,
good.
and then last year he wasn't bad, but he wasn't supposed to be on that Pelicans team.
One of the best outlet passers I've seen.
Yeah. And then I had Jaron Jackson Jr. at 10 because he was listed as a center last year, which I don't know if Valenciunis wasn't. We both didn't have Valenciunis, so
I don't know what games they were watching where he played center, but it wasn't the same.
And then you had Lamarcus Aldridge at number 10.
Oh my God!
Who was
Granted, like
being botted out and retired from the NBA,
but unrelated to basketball.
Yeah.
Unrelated retirement. Throw that in.
And then that means we both had Clint Capela not in the top 10. I had Capela at 11. I don't know where you had him. You had Brook Lopez at 11. I just wrote the top 11. So
Brook Lopez at 11 over Capela.
Capela missed the top 10.
Capela's a baller.
I know, like
Capela hoops.
But also last year was a weird year for Clint Capela. Or not last year, like the year when we did this.
Yeah, because he just got traded.
He come off of getting traded from the Hawks and then didn't play for the Hawks at all. Like just sat out the whole rest of the year, so we didn't really see much of him. And then obviously last year, his first real year with the Hawks, he was fantastic, led the league in rebounding. So
centers is a weird list because the center position is so much more than points and rebounds.
Yeah.
Like there is so much more that goes into it.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it's about how you can guard the pick and roll, how you can run the pick and roll, your defensive ability, can you stretch the floor or not? Like there's a lot more than scoring. Yeah.
And our top 5 is going to be the same. Like I don't think we'll have any difference.
I could see us having one difference.
I can't. I'd be really surprised. I guess
let's just hop into it.
I guess if I'm thinking the two guys.
Do you have any honorable mentions? I think we're committing this right now. We're naming honorable mentions before the top 10. Because remember last year, every time we were like, should we say the honorable mentions or no? And sometimes we did, sometimes we didn't.
My honorable mentions that I've got written on the side, just guys I wrote down. Nurkic, just because I checked him out, because he at one point was. Jarrett Allen and Steven Adams.
Okay.
And that's like and there's other guys. They're not my honorable mentions.
The only 3 that I didn't put Nurkic, but the only 3 I thought of were Miles Turner, Kristaps Porzingis, and Christian Wood were my 3 honorable mentions.
Huh.
So
interesting.
I assume 1 or 2 of those guys is on your list.
Yeah.
I assumed Christian Wood would be, but let's get into it, man. Top 10 centers in the NBA. Number 10. Like I said, though, this is like the more boring one.
We can probably get through this in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, our top 5 is so simple.
Let's do it. Who's your number 10?
My number 10 is Kristaps Porzingis. Last year, going into the year, I expected him to be great. Like, who didn't? He was playing with Luka. What a perfect duo in everybody's head. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, KP doesn't know what the paint smells like anymore.
And honestly, coming off in the bubble, he was really good in the bubble. And then he got hurt. And then it was like, oh, well, once he comes back, they'll be good again. And then it was like, oh, he just wasn't after he came back from injury.
Doesn't know what the paint
and can't
smells
stay
like.
healthy as well. So, yeah, Porzingis, he just missed my list. I still think he could be good again, but he definitely is overpaid. And we'll see if Dallas underperforms again this year. I think he's bound to get moved, especially with his big deal.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. Number 10 for me. This is where I have the Jarrett Allen.
Okay.
I think Allen's last year was just really under the radar. I still cannot believe that the Houston Rockets traded Harden to the Nets and Allen didn't end up with the Rockets. The Cavs just snuck in and got him.
Here, we'll take him from you.
Allen did get paid a bag this offseason. I don't think he got over or underpaid at all, but Allen is just definitely one of the better rim protectors in the NBA. I mean, he has so many highlights of blocking elite dunkers at the rim.
People trying to yam on him.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's not like dudes soft dunking on him.
They try to dunk, yeah.
Because you have to. I was reading something about this, dude, about when you go at a big, like if you're going at Rudy Gobert, every single player in the league knows you either have to slam it or you're getting blocked no matter what.
You have to go 100%.
Yeah, like hard.
Yeah. And it usually still doesn't work for Jared Allen.
Never.
And I think that's why I had him. My number 10 spot, I originally had Christian Wood, and then I switched it to Jared Allen. Just because of his elite, I think he's better at defense than Christian Wood is at offense, if that makes any sense. And I think I just valued that a little more with him. I love Christian Wood, obviously. Miles Turner and Jared Allen are another two very similar players. Turner can stretch the floor a little bit. Allen runs the pick and roll a little better. And I think Allen could be really good next to Evan Mobley. I'm excited to see how the Cavs do that.
Allen is extremely smart. It goes way under the radar how smart that guy is. Whenever you're watching him play, he is never in the wrong spot on the floor. Always right spot, right time. And some players you think it's luck, but then with Jared Allen, it never stops happening.
Yeah.
It's not luck. Like, he's always in that spot.
Yeah, I agree.
So Jared Allen is criminally, I wouldn't say underrated by any means, because I think a lot of people now highly regard him after his time in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But definitely
Especially
he was the first guy
when
off.
he went to the Cavs, he really just was really good right away too. And then it was like, how the hell did he not end up in Houston? Like,
robbery out of Cleveland.
Number 9.
My number 9, this is where I got Christian Wood. And that's the only two guys from honorable mentions that I have. Christian Wood, his points and his stats they're basically empty. He puts them up, but they're empty.
But he's good.
He is good.
Obviously, he's top 10 center. Yeah.
But they are empty stats, so that's why he's so low. Because you look at him, and you're gonna look at the next guys I have in front of him. They don't score the ball. They didn't score 21 points a game last season.
Yeah.
On pretty good efficiency. Like, they didn't.
And Christian Wood, before he got injured last year, because he got injured twice, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yep.
He was really good to start the year. Like, he was MIP. It was him and Jeremy Grant before Randall really was the front runner. It was him and Jeremy Grant for the most improved players, and it was like, damn, we could have had both of them on our team. But yeah, Christian Wood, I still am a big Christian Wood fan. I don't think he's gonna be in Houston though for that long. Like, I could honestly see them moving him at the deadline this year, or maybe in the offseason next year, just because not that he doesn't fit their timeline, because he is a younger player. But
I feel like he's valuable.
They have
too.
Şengün, they have Garuba, and Wood. Like, the Rockets are going full rebuild. Like, they're not going to be good for some years.
Yep.
So he doesn't really fit that, I guess. And yeah, his contract is a very valuable contract right now. They could get good value for him.
Yeah,
I still think
team winning could take him.
I still think you could probably move him to the Warriors for one of their younger guys. Maybe. I mean, you might have to throw in a little something. You could get Moody or Kuminga. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Maybe.
Jalen
I really
Green
don't know,
Moody.
but that'd be sick.
Disgusting. Who's
My
your 9?
number 9 is a guy who was recently traded, Jonas Valenciunis.
Okay.
I love Jonas Valenciunis. He's always been one of my favorite big men in the NBA. Had a career year last year in Memphis, averaged 17, 18 points a game, 12 or 13 rebounds. And he's really worked on his three-point shot since leaving Toronto. He always had it a little bit, but in Memphis he really worked on that three ball, and I think it's going to help a lot with the Pelicans this upcoming year. Hopefully that ends up being a move for the Pelicans that can make them a better team, obviously. But Valanciunas, he is a pretty decent defender. I mean, he's not a liability or anything. But his offensive game is pretty good, and I have him at number 9.
It's funny that our 9 and 10, we both aren't on each other's list. I don't have Valanciunas
Really?
on my list.
That's tough.
And it's nothing against Valanciunas.
Yeah, I mean, and he's not that much better than Christian Wood in my eyes.
The bottom 7 dudes are damn near interchangeable.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good
Yeah.
average centers in the NBA. Top,
and that's the thing.
little above average.
If we were to do the top 50 players,
these dudes
6
don't
through
belong
10,
on it.
7 through 10 wouldn't be in the top 50 players, just
Hell
because
no.
also how good the guard position
There'd be
is as
14
well.
point guards, 14 shooting guards.
Number 8.
This guy is actually going to take a little bit of an explanation, because he is low. I don't know. It's DeAndre Ayton. I have him here.
Really? You have him low. You're a big Ayton guy.
I'm a huge Ayton guy. But I remember during the season last year, me and you sitting in these exact same spots like we do for every podcast except for last week. And we were talking about how DeAndre Ayton never looks aggressive enough. Never. Yeah. And the whole year we said that. It was not until the playoffs where we started going, holy shit, DeAndre Ayton's so good.
He really unleashed it in the playoffs. Yeah.
And it was just like, I don't want to let that one playoff run and recency bias bump him up multiple spots when he could go right back to midseason form, and maybe he's a playoff basketball player. We were questioning TJ Warren. I know it's a different situation because it was the bubble. But again, this is a guy with a spectacular playoff run who I'm not going to overrate based on that, especially when he didn't do the same thing during the season.
Yeah.
He elevated his game in the playoffs.
I agree.
No doubt about it.
Definitely is different than like a bubble situation because it's real. I mean, the bubble, like, I'm not saying it wasn't real.
Just low key.
It pretty much wasn't real. Like, it was just
Big
like, all right, we're all going to go here,
league.
and everyone is going to play 10 times better than they should. Whereas this DeAndre Ayton, this last year, very realistic. I mean, it was a regular season. They had
Fans.
Packed crowds playing in other team stadiums. Like, so he definitely can play like that for a full season. Hopefully he does. I agree with what you're saying. I almost had DeAndre Ayton at number 8. I really almost did, but he's not. I have Clint Capela at number 8. Clint Capela, I wanted to put higher. I honestly thought he was going to be higher on this list, but I kind of also just forgot about a couple guys. But, I mean, you can really argue Clint Capela is a borderline top 5 center. I mean, he really was. He is such a good lob threat, dude. I mean, obviously having Trae Young.
No, that's just he is the most beneficial of the duo.
Yeah.
On this whole list, he benefits the most from his partner.
Exactly. And obviously you have John Collins in there too, which just is another guy. But Clint Capela is just such an amazing guy in the pick and roll. He is a quicker defender. He's a little undersized for the center, but you would never notice. I mean, he led the league in rebounding last year. And he's just all around like really, really good center. Doesn't stretch the floor at all, so that shows you how good he is that we have him this high. I mean, there's no other guy on here other than you know who that doesn't stretch the floor at all and is this high.
You know who?
Yeah,
Voldemort.
exactly.
Like, what the hell?
you know what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
Like, Clint Capela though. They just extended him too. I think he just got an extension, like a 2-year extension, because he was kind of underpaid. Honestly, he was making like $18 million a year. He definitely is in that $25 million a year category, and he's going to be such a huge part of this Hawks team going forward. And he was last year. I mean, this team without Clint Capela last year. Oh, you've seen. I mean, Onyeka Okongwu, they spent a top 6 pick on him, and he really wasn't playing much because Capela was that good. He needed to be on the floor for them. I love Clint Capela.
Clint Capela is my number 7. And the reason, my thought process as I'm sitting there, these were the only 2 that I really sat there and went, huh. I went, huh, right? I was like, who out of these 2 guys? And I decided, my conclusion was, if Clint Capela was on the Suns, would he be better than DeAndre Ayton? And I said, I think so. I think he'd be a better basketball player than DeAndre Ayton. Imagine him with Chris Paul. Imagine what he would do with Chris Paul. Like, he would be disgusting.
We're acting like they weren't teammates in Houston.
Clint Capela's 4 years younger.
And it was a little different because Harden was the more, like, had the ball more. And like, obviously Booker is with Chris Paul too, but Chris Paul still runs the offense.
Yeah, and I'm not taking anything away. I'm not saying Trae Young. Trae Young is one of the best lob passers
he probably
in the league.
is the best.
Yeah, he's
probably better than Chris Paul,
They're right up there. But I'm saying, like, I think Clint Capela would be a monster on the Suns. And that's where I separated them.
Yeah.
But then I look at it, and it's like 8 and on the Hawks. Whoa.
Imagine Trae Young throwing lobs to him.
Whoa. Like, exactly. Like, it's
I get what you're saying. So I have DeAndre Ayton at number 7. And I kind of put him over Capela for the reason that you didn't put him over Capela. I think that his playoff run boosted him for me. And obviously, I don't like recency bias. I'm the same thing with you. But I think that the fact that he played so well in the playoffs, and it was like you noticed when DeAndre Ayton came off the floor, the Suns really, really struggled. I mean, like, especially after Dario Saric got hurt. And Ayton was such a huge piece for them defensively and offensively. Had the game-winning lob dunk. So many special moments from Ayton in these playoffs. And that's why I have him at 7, just because of his spectacular playoff run.
Yep, and I do expect him to be probably a top 7 center next year, top 6. Granted, I have him at 8, so like I only expect him to jump up 1 or 2 spots. But like,
yeah, he definitely probably top 6.
That's a big deal. And like like the gap between 3 and 7 is not that.
I mean,
crazy.
these top 6 have pretty much been the same.
For a
obviously,
long time.
Bam wasn't a center, but like the other top 5 guys, they have been the top 5, top 6 for like the last 4 or 5 years.
Absolutely.
You can't say that about every other position.
No, not at all. It changes with the weather.
The centers are pretty much in the same.
Yeah, facts. My number 6. This is where I have Nikola Vucevic or Nikola. I don't know which one he is. Vuce. One of the best scoring big men in the league. Post scoring wise, he's probably the smartest in the league other than Joel Embiid. Vuce doesn't make wrong moves in the post, always spinning away from double teams. He's got the hooks, he's got the fades, he's got the up and unders, the step throughs. He has it all, and he's got a really nice jump shot. I expect this Bulls team to be very good next year. And by that, I mean like the 7 seed, 8 seed. Because the East
playoffs
is
is all
loaded.
that matters.
If you're at this point in the NBA, if you're making the playoffs, you have a great team.
Yeah.
The playoffs in the NBA is completely different than it ever has been. It's way more competitive, but that's besides the point. Vooch is a stud. One of the best big scorers in the league, and he's a great passer.
Yeah.
Underrated passer.
I was just going to say that. I have Vooch at 6'2". Yeah, he's a very underrated passer. Definitely one of the better, if not probably a top 2 or 3 offensive big in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
A great scorer, pretty good rebounder, but he can score at all 3 levels. He can take big men off the dribble, can knock down the shot in their face. I really love Vucevic's game. And it shows because, I mean, the Bulls gave up a lot to trade for him. So that shows his value. And obviously, once he got to Chicago last year, the Bulls kind of did worse. So hopefully they can, put it together in Chicago. But a healthy Vucevic is going to be he's definitely going to be one of the X factors for this team. He was an All-Star last year on one of the worst teams in the NBA, made the All-Star game. So that shows you how good he was last year.
I feel like Vooch is one of the least talked about players in the league, and it is no fault other than the teams he's been on.
Yeah.
Like, if he's on good teams, he is in the conversation every year for top 5 center.
Yeah, I mean, he made the playoffs like once or twice in Orlando, but as the 7 and 8 seed.
He's a baller.
They need to. He needs to be on a team that is competing in the playoffs, and I think he can be this year.
Absolutely.
Top 5.
My top 5. At number 5. I have the shooter. I have the bad defender. I have Karl Anthony Towns here at number 5.
I knew we weren't going to have the same top 5.
You don't have Cat at 5.
Nope.
What? This is strictly valuing the defensive presence of the center. I believe that a center's first 2 goals are to rebound and play defense. That's the way I've always thought. Like, if they can't do that, it's tough to play him at the center position unless you have a big-ass 4 who's clamps. Cat doesn't have one of those, and I'm not going to fault him for that. But I think your role as a center, they would be a better team if he was a little bit better at defense and a little bit worse at shooting. And so that's where I'm going to value the centers who play really good defense over him. And that's where I've got, obviously, the next 4 in whatever order.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I'll talk about Cat once I get to him. But I do not have Cat at number 5. My number 5 is the best defensive center in the NBA, Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert at 5. Definitely, technically is a top 3 center in the NBA because he was 3rd team All-NBA this past year. But Gobert, to me, obviously he is a great rim protector. But being a great rim protector doesn't mean he is a great defender. He was Defensive Player of the Year, and the Jazz do a great job of running their defense through him, I guess.
Keeping him in the paint.
But it was clearly exposed in the playoffs that Rudy Gobert's defensive ability is limited. It's not just he's this great defender. He's a great rim protector. And yes, he is the best in the league at it, and I'm not taking that away from him. He's still one of the best players. He's an all-star. But Rudy Gobert got exposed by the Clippers running their small ball lineup without Paul George. Rudy Gobert being one of the best players on that team and being the best defensive center in the NBA hasn't really gotten them much, so far. He's still a top 5 center, so obviously he's still a really good player. I shouldn't be trashing him as much as I am, I guess. Yeah. But
you're not trashing
I just value the other 2 centers' abilities more than I do Rudy Gobert's, and we'll see how they try to change things this upcoming year because I mean, Gobert got 40 points put on his head by Terrence Mann. Literally he was guarding Terrence Mann the entire time. Mann would hit the shot on him. He'd blow right past him. And I mean, it's just a little frustrating.
Using my own logic against myself, why didn't I look at this from the standpoint of if Cat and Bam were on those Jazz teams beat the Clippers.
That is 100% true.
They do. So, like, I can't rework my list now, but I would like to.
But obviously things would be different if they were on the Jazz, things would be different in general. So,
but like, still,
I get what you're saying, though. Yeah.
But I've also learned from this podcast just today that I value defense more than you value offense more than I do, and I value defense more than you do. I think about when we talk about Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Now Rudy Gobert.
No, I do value defense. I mean, I value Jarrett Allen over Christian Wood because of defense.
That's funny.
But it's just to a certain extent, though. At the higher level, I value the guy. I think it's easier to have an offensive player and build the team around him than a defensive player and get offensive guys around him.
Yep,
I
agree.
think that's easier.
I agree.
Top 4.
My number 4, and now looking at it, I don't like it, but it is Bam Adebayo. Bam, I don't have much to say about him. He's one of my favorite centers in the league. Like free throw line and in, I think he's honestly one of the best scorers in the league. He is unreal from there. He catches it at the elbow. He's probably scoring on you. Off the dribble, he'll take centers. He'll pull up and hit a little midi on you. He's a monster defensively. His feet move better than 95% of the centers in the league. And he runs the floor like a wing, like a small forward. Yeah. He is an absolute stud.
At my number 4, I also have Bam Adebayo.
Wow.
I'm a
Cat better than Bam?
Yes, I do. Bam, though, what an excellent player. Yeah, I think he's better than Rudy Gobert because he doesn't bring the same defensive. He's a great defensive player, but he's a different defensive player than Rudy Gobert
more
is.
Versatile.
Like Bam definitely is a good rim protector, not to the Rudy Gobert level, but he can guard guys on the perimeter. He can guard the pick and roll very well. You can switch with not having to worry about switching with Bam Adebayo. He's usually going to be guarding the best player on the other guy's team, whereas you really can't say that about Rudy Gobert. And then, like you said, Bam Adebayo on the elbow is very dangerous. He was really good in the playoffs in the bubble 2 years ago. Last year, obviously, wasn't a very big sample size.
A wash for
so exactly. Like they only played 4 games in the playoffs. Everyone really didn't play that well. And then you look at Bam's career too. At least it's the last 2 years, because the last 2 years is really when he's become good. The 4s next to him really haven't been very great. I mean, Kelly Olynyk, Myers Leonard,
I couldn't even think of his
James
name.
Johnson. Who was there last year?
Johnson?
Who was there last year?
Wasn't Amir Johnson on that team?
He might have been,
for a little bit.
But like, who was on the team last year? Who was there
Jr.
for? I don't even remember who their 4 was last year. But now they had PJ Tucker, who is going to be a really good player for him, just because he's another elite defender that he can take. You can switch those guys no matter what with the bigs. It's going to allow Bam on offense to extend his game. And he has Kyle Lowry running the point guard now. And obviously Jimmy Butler is still a very good player. So I think Bam is going to break out even more this year.
Was it Precious or you could say Precious or Iggy?
They didn't really play. Yeah, I guess you could say Iggy. Yeah, Precious and him really wouldn't play together. I mean, Bam would run the 4 and then, I don't know.
They didn't really have a good 4.
He would kind of run the 4, and they would have a dude run the 5, kind of. Like, they've really never had a 4 put next to him.
Never. My number 3, Rudy Gobert. Best defender, best defensive center in the league at rim protecting.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably still the best.
I don't know, though.
Yeah, he might not be the best defensive center. Best all-around defensive center is probably Bam, right?
It's probably Bam. It's got to be.
But Gobert's probably second.
Yeah, and then Jared Allen.
Maybe even DeAndre Ayton. I mean, Miles Turner, too.
Oh, my. Okay, I think now we're starting to underrate. Rudy Gobert's at least
I'm just,
top 2.
I agree.
He can't not be
But
2.
I'm just, like, throwing guys out there.
Yeah. Miles Turner's a monster defensively.
Yeah, but, I mean, we've kind of talked about Gobert a good amount.
Yeah, I don't need to say anything more about him.
My number 3, I had him last year. He's still here. I still will argue for this guy. It's Karl Anthony Towns.
You love Cat, bro.
I love Cat, and the reason I do is because Cat is the most skilled offensive big in the NBA. And I think that's no debate.
Really?
I think so.
The
most skilled offensive player big in the NBA. Okay, yeah, we can go with, score, because Jokic does bring the playmaking. Yeah, I agree. Yes, he is the best scoring big in the NBA, and he does it efficiently. And his defensive, I don't think it's more of like he just sucks at defense.
Don't care.
He doesn't care. I mean, he just doesn't have the motor. But why would he? Yeah. You look at what Karl-Anthony Towns had to go through the last year or two. Yep. I mean, just awful things outside of basketball.
Shout out, Cat.
And also, I mean, the teams that they have put around Karl-Anthony Towns have just been awful his whole career. They tried getting Jimmy Butler there. Not the best idea. I mean, you're not going to put Jimmy Butler in a locker room with two dudes who don't care about basketball.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Well.
I mean, like, maybe they were probably thinking Butler will motivate them. No, that's not.
Jimmy didn't care about motivating them.
He didn't care about that. He cared about winning.
Yeah. My job isn't to come here and babysit.
But Karl-Anthony Towns, you look at, like I said, it's a lot easier to get your elite offensive player and put defensive players around him. The Timberwolves have done a horrible job of that. I mean, look at all their players are offensive guys on their team. D'Angelo Russell's his friend. That's cool. Like, you tried that.
It don't work.
It's not going to work. Ben Simmons, I think, would levitate both of their games, but I think it would make Karl-Anthony Towns 10 times better. I think that he just needs a full healthy season too, because he has not had a healthy season in 2 years. And I would love to see a full season of Cat, no injuries, trying. He could average. I mean, I don't see a world where Cat couldn't average 28, 29 points a game.
Me either.
Legitimately, if he really cared about it.
Well, it's the fact of the matter, there's two centers in the whole league that can guard him.
Yeah.
Maybe one. It's probably just Bam.
I mean, Cat is so quick.
Like, Giannis is going to guard him. Bam's going to guard him. Well, Kawhi can probably do something.
Yeah. But then he'll just post him
Anthony
up, you know?
Davis.
AD.
But that's 4 dudes. That's like 12 games out of your whole 82 game year.
Like, I really just think Cat, his ability, his skill alone is why I have him at number 3.
Yep.
His motor is the issue.
Nothing, and he has no accolades.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah,
Not
that
a single
too.
one.
Rookie of the year.
Yeah,
that doesn't count.
Who cares?
I get what you're saying.
Who cares?
All-star like twice.
My number 2 and my number 1. Number 2, Joel Embiid. Number 1, Jokic. Jokic was the MVP last year. Both of them are absolute studs. Cannot wait to watch either one of them play. Joel Embiid went wild on Twitter today, calling out the media, calling out Philly fans.
Really?
Yeah,
I saw something about him.
He mentioned, 2 years ago, I remember getting booed off the court, blah, 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 and I came back and was blah, 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 MVP runner-up. And now y'all are backing me up. Philly fans, be better.
I think it was just because it was always like Simmons or Embiid.
And then he trashed him. He's like, because the article said Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, one of them has to get moved because in the locker room they can't be together. And Joel Embiid is like, huh?
Yeah.
I have no problems with Ben Simmons, nor do I think he lost us a playoff series. He's like, I didn't play well enough. We didn't play well enough.
Yeah.
He's like, I hate it when y'all use me to motivate your agenda. And he's like, it's just not true. And just called. And then the Philly fans are in the comments bitching at Joel Embiid, bro. They're like, we pay for our tickets. We're the only reason you have a salary. Shut up, bro. Your one ticket sale is not why he has a salary.
Your 45-year-old ass working at Home Depot, sitting on your couch watching the Sixers is the reason that he is playing in the NBA. Yeah, that's right.
You are his salary right there. You idiot.
Oh, my God. Yeah, but I have Embiid at 2, Jokic at 1 as well. A lot of people do think Embiid is better than Jokic. I mean, you can really argue that if Embiid doesn't get hurt last year, I mean, I don't think you can. It's an argument, honestly. If Embiid doesn't get hurt, he wins MVP because the Sixers were the 1 seed in the East.
And Embiid was balling.
And Embiid was really good. Embiid did really surprise me last year because I think there was the 10 solidified best players in the NBA last year. Joel Embiid wasn't one of them, or at least when we did our rankings. Yep. This year, there's the 11 best players in the NBA. I think that's the 11 solidified. The order is weird, but Embiid is definitely in that group, especially the year he had last year. But Jokic is the MVP, so you have to put Jokic above him. Not really much else to say, though.
Not much to say about those two. It's pretty clear, cut and dry of why they're where they're at.
And it's awesome that 2 of the best players in the NBA are centers. Because
we
went through a span of time where the centers in the NBA weren't very good.
weren't very good. They were horrible. They weren't starting in all-star games.
They weren't very good at all. Yeah. They wouldn't have
like
they would run 2 guards and 3 forwards. Yeah.
because the center sucked.
Yeah.
Like they didn't know. It's because they couldn't shoot. It just took them a while.
Yeah. They figured it out. Yeah.
Bargnani was before his time.
And think about the bigs we have coming up. I mean, the league's going to be run by bigs once again. Mobley, Chet Holmgren, Paulo Banchero, Victor Wembanyama, Jalen Duren. Like, there's a lot of younger bigs.
DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, obviously Ayton. Like,
no, this league is now back to being like damn near a big dominated league.
We'll
like
see.
I'm trying to think of who's winning championships recently. They all have. I mean, Giannis is a center in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a big in general.
He's just huge.
But he's like a different. Like he's like an exception.
Yeah,
there's not gonna be another Giannis.
No,
unless Paulo Banchero becomes Giannis.
Dude, it is amazing how much I don't know about that kid.
He's gonna be really good. Like he'll probably be the first pick.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Like I saw a draft board and I was like, hold up, wait a minute. I thought Chet was going.
You gotta watch his highlights.
Yeah.
I mean, Duke is just gonna be like Duke sucked last year. They're gonna be freaking nuts this year, dude, and it's gonna suck. I mean, I guess it's Coach K's last year, so whatever. But I've always hated Duke. So.
Screw Duke.
Yeah, I don't like Duke. All right, is that all?
I think that's all.
I think we're done.
I think we're out of here. Peace.
Peace.